God bless everybody. Today it is October 28th of 2023 and Turkey is ready for war. Been talking about this, been warning you about this, keep telling you after he does this parade on the 29th, this 100th year of the Neo-Ottoman Empire celebration. He is going to get into this war, and he's actually using this celebration to start moving some of his armor and troops into place so that he can start this up pretty much right after this celebration. And now we have had this intervention into Gaza, ground game going on with Israel. And so this has now speeded up Erdogan's decision on how fast he's going to come into this game. I want to play this video because it can do in about 10 minutes what I can't do in a half an hour. And if you watch it, everything that they're talking about in here is stuff that we've covered and I've told you was getting ready to happen. And they're basically reiterating everything that I've been talking about. And this just came out in the last hour. So it's not an old video. They're just now starting to realize what's happening out here. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's watch this video real quick, and I think it will explain and put the pieces together better than I can. And so when I do these types of videos, it's for information. They do a nice job explaining it, not getting too political. And so until that changes, I will possibly use these videos at times. And I think they're a good barometer to what's happening over here right now. They seem to be giving us basic, straight information. And so I think that's extremely important. So let's watch this video and you can see what's literally happening out here at this very moment.
Turkish President Erdogan has spoken very harshly against Israel. The 24-hour period that Turkey gave to Israel has expired. President Erdogan announced his latest decision on Israel at the great Palestinian rally he organized. Erdogan, who held a meeting with Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, again spoke about the war between Israel and Hamas is a jihad alliance being born under the leadership of Turkey. Erdogan said at his rally today, "Israel, you can be an organization because the West owes you. But Turkey has no debt to Israel. Hamas is not a terrorist organization. It is a mujahideen group that is fighting to protect its territory," he repeated. The United States reacted to Erdogan's speech by stating that Turkey should immediately officially declare Hamas a terrorist organization. After that, Hamas militants began to increase their attacks on Israel even more and launched a new airstrike on the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. While these missiles, sent by Hamas, were destroyed by Iron Dome air defense systems, Israeli soldiers had fun while these missiles were destroyed. With these attacks by Hamas increasing, the Israeli army entered the Gaza Strip last night and launched a limited ground operation. The day after this attack, Turkish President Erdogan held a large rally in Istanbul in support of Palestine. Erdogan's speeches at this rally became the agenda all over the world. President Erdogan said, "O West, I am calling on you. Do you want to have a Crescent-Crusader struggle again? If you have such a goal, know that Turkey is ready," he said, addressing the Western leaders who visited Israel. The West is the biggest responsible for the war in Gaza. Israel is a pawn in the region that will only be sacrificed when the day comes. We can come suddenly one night, he said, giving a message that the Turkish army will take action. President Erdogan addressed the people and said, "Gazans are ready to defend their homeland with their teeth. Are we ready too?" By saying this, he once again showed that the probability of Turkey entering the war against Israel is quite high. President Erdogan's words, "We can come suddenly one night," have become the agenda all over the world, showing that there is a very high probability that a third world war will start. After these statements by Erdogan, the reaction from Israel was not delayed. Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said, "In the face of harsh statements from Turkey, I have ordered the return of diplomatic representatives in Turkey in order to re-evaluate Israeli-Turkish relations, noting that Israeli representatives have withdrawn from Turkey. The Turkish people have been protesting in the streets for days for the Turkish army to go to Gaza. During these demonstrations, thousands of Turkish citizens carried out attacks on the Israeli embassy building. The Turkish people want to get involved in the war because of Israel's attacks on Gaza. At the United Nations General Assembly meeting, 120 countries issued a joint decree calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. We clearly reject the United Nations General Assembly's despicable call for a ceasefire, Israeli Foreign Minister Cohen said, noting that Israel will eliminate Hamas. As the deconfliction between Israel and Hamas continued, anti-war protests began to be organized in Israel. Hundreds of citizens held anti-Netanyahu and anti-war demonstrations in the streets. Jewish citizens who reacted to Israel's attacks on Gaza last night staged a sit-in at the U.S. Congress building. A large number of Jewish citizens were arrested by the U.S. police. However, Netanyahu does not care about this request of the people. The Biden administration has also begun to increase its support for Israel by backing Netanyahu. The U.S. Department of Defense has announced that it will send 900 troops to Israel in order to prevent threats from Hamas. The USS Gerald R., which the United States has sent to the eastern Mediterranean. Erdogan, who sent Turkish Navy ships to the eastern Mediterranean in response to the Ford aircraft carrier, conducted an exercise in this region. On top of that, the USA, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, also decided to send the aircraft carrier to the eastern Mediterranean. The USS Dwight aircraft carrier has crossed the Strait of Hormuz and is continuing to move forward. It is estimated that Erdogan is preparing the maritime borders for war with 100 warships by using the celebrations of the 100th anniversary of the Republic as a pretext. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian warned Israel not to conduct ground operations against Gaza, saying, "If Israel enters Gaza, the opening of new fronts against the Zionist regime will be inevitable. This will create a new situation from the point of view of Israel, the consequences of which it will regret." He made a threatening speech by saying, "The United States has made a statement that it has struck Iranian-backed targets in Syria." U.S. Defense Secretary Austin stated that on the instructions of Biden, they carried out an airstrike on 2 facilities used by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Army and its affiliated groups in the eastern region of Syria. The U.S. administration continues to intimidate Iran not to intervene in the war. Turkish President Erdogan's patience has run out after the Israeli army's attacks on the Gaza Strip last night. President Erdogan has made it clear that he will not make any visits to Israel. At the same time, the energy agreements planned to be made between Israel and Turkey have also been suspended. In Turkey, people are taking to the streets and putting great pressure on the army to be sent to Gaza. These speeches of Erdogan are criticized very harshly by the West. Reports have started to come that attacks have been carried out on Turkey's embassy buildings in the West. However, Turkish President Erdogan has made it clear that they will take care of Palestine. After the Israeli ground operation launched at night, the countries of the world began to show their sides. The Israeli army entered the Gaza Strip weeks later. The Israeli army, which entered the borders of the Gaza Strip, attacked Hamas from 3 different directions. With the reports in the Israeli media, it was announced that thousands of Israeli soldiers and armored units had entered Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed these published news. The Israeli army, which carried out airstrikes on the targeted areas within the borders of Gaza, continued its attacks throughout the night. Hamas militants responded by using RPGs and armor-piercing ammunition against Israeli tanks. However, after this unexpected attack by the Israeli army, the statement of Turkish President Erdogan has become a topic of the agenda all over the world. Muslim citizens living in the Kerala region of India also gathered for Gaza. Thousands of Indians protested by chanting anti-war rhetoric in order to protest Israel's attacks on Gaza. In the same way, rallies began to be organized in London in support of Gaza. While all these protests are going on, Israeli warplanes continue to hit Gaza. The Israeli defense minister stated that they have entered a new phase in the Gaza war and that operations will continue until they give new orders. In November, the Qassam brigades announced that they had bombed the Zikim military base with rockets in order to respond to the Israeli attacks. Hezbollah militants carried out an airstrike on a military post in the Israeli-owned Al-Abad district. Israel was not late in responding to this attack. The Israeli army continues to strike Hezbollah targets located in Lebanon. The Israel Defense Forces, which published the images of the operation they organized on social media platforms, showed that they were continuing operations in this way. The commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards made a threatening speech against Israel, saying, "If Israel launches a ground attack on Gaza, they will be buried there." A warning came from Russia to Israel after the limited ground operation launched by Israel against Gaza.
So I just want you to realize things are moving extremely quickly. I was talking about that Centurion event on the 29th and how Erdogan's going to get into this fight right after that, and it looks like that is what's going to happen. Look, he's got a large army. It's the second largest in NATO. He's going to rain hell down on the Middle East. He is ready for invasion. He's already been preparing for this for years. He's been attacking the Kurds and moving his outposts in Syria and Iraq for years. I talked about that original incursion, that original invasion on October 9th of 2019, which is on Yom Kippur. This is a continuation, but now Erdogan's done. He's had enough, and he's getting ready to enter this war. And so, if you thought the dynamic has changed already, wait till this man enters the scene, because he's going to change the world. God bless. Have a great night. If you have not completed your preparations, put enough oil in your lamps. You need to get it on. November 7th is coming. I think that's when we're going to see that attack from the Kurds on Turkey as they enter this war. They're going to do something. And then we have that date of December 22nd, which is 10 Tibet. And I believe that is when we will see its full-on siege in Jerusalem by the end of this year, right before Christmas. Find the open door. Find Jesus. God bless. Be safe.